Welcome to the customer service training video. My hope is that after this presentation, you will take away something new and then apply that knowledge with your clients or staff. As you are probably aware by now, our day-to-day job requires us to be problem solvers. You may have had several problems suddenly appear all at once, and everyone needs an answer right away. It's not uncommon to find ourselves in a critical situation that may require us to think and act quickly before things get out of hand. But have you ever asked yourself, how am I handling these stressful situations? Think about what your body language looks like when you're confronted with something that needs resolving quickly, or the words you used that you were feeling when you were feeling stressed. This and other viewpoints will be discussed throughout this presentation and will hopefully help you remember what we should consider in the future. To ensure we have had a successful outcome with our clients, let's look at what skills are needed to maintain that success each day. Let's start with an example of customer service. Most of us probably think about food service when we think about customer service. So let's think about our favorite restaurant. Ask yourself these questions. Why did you pick that particular restaurant as your favorite? What is it that makes you go back time and time again? What expectations do you have when you get there? What's the atmosphere like? Is the waiter or waitress attentive to your needs? Do they stop to ask you if you need anything without you asking? Are they friendly? Do they address your needs in a timely manner? Do they get the order right? Is the food good? Is it on time? Do they ask questions about your order? If the food was good, drinks were refilled, etc. I bet they get a good tip if the customer service was good, right? So what is your reaction if the service wasn't what you expected, or if they were rude, the order was wrong, they aren't helpful with ordering, or they barely speak to you unless they give you the bill? Would this affect the tip? So let's flip this around and ask this question about ourselves. What if your job depended on tips? What would you change about yourself? Our clients come in many different forms. It's our job to handle stressful situations by remaining in control of ourselves, learning to listen and let them vent. Show that you are empathetic. Never place blame. If you aren't able to solve the problem, find someone to help. Do not make promises you can't keep. Learning not to take things personal. So these are just a few points we will discuss throughout the presentation that are important in providing the right customer service to our clients. One of the skills we tend to leave out when we are confronted with a stressful situation is actively listening. It's a tough one to practice, but have you ever thought of whether or not you really paid attention to a person's needs? Are you actively engaged or just waiting for a moment of pause or interrupting so you can shut down the conversation and ultimately ignoring the need of the client? We do this often, sometimes unknowingly, so when the situation escalates, we are left wondering what happened. When the client needs are not met, we have not actively listened and we are not providing customer service. Feedback lets the client know that you have listened to their needs and are addressing them to the best of your abilities. Feedback is also a great way to ask the client questions if we have met their needs. Remember to receive any constructive criticism given with a positive attitude, and don't take it personal. Being attentive can be hard to do when there is a lot of distraction around you, but it's important that we let our clients know they are important and deserve our undivided attention. Paying attention to our clients tells them we care, we are listening, and they are being understood. Your attentiveness to the needs and expectations of our clients is very important for good customer service. Attentiveness can also help reduce some behaviors. You can help reduce or minimize the potential for harmful outcomes by paying attention to the triggers that can cause our clients to escalate quickly. If you see something you know can trigger a negative response, it is our job to act quickly and intervene with positive reinforcement techniques. By doing this, you have helped stop a situation from becoming uncontrollable because you were attentive. How good are you at managing your time? This one is a hard skill to accomplish, sometimes because we have so many tasks to complete and only so many hours to get them done in. Multitasking is hard enough if you have a hard time focusing, so making sure that you plan ahead is pretty important if you don't want to fall behind on your tasks. Planning your day and managing your time also allows the workflow to go smoothly. It's important in making good decisions. Our first priority is to make sure the clients are taken care of. If you are having to decide between checking social media or playing games on your phone versus checking on your clients, your first response should always be clients first, personal needs last. Remember, our clients know if you are watching them or not. So good decision-making skills are very important when it comes to the welfare and safety of our clients. Prioritize your tasks and know which ones will take more time so that you aren't overloaded or overwhelmed later. Sometimes the workload can be overwhelming, especially when dealing with behaviors. You will experience both good days and bad days, as with any job, but always remember why we are here and who we are serving. Treat each day as if it were the first day on the job. Burnout is one of the top reasons people leave their job. When you feel you have reached your limits, just stop for a moment, take a deep breath, maybe count to 10 or ask someone to fill in for a few minutes so you can regroup for a minute. You are important too, and our clients need you to be at your best whenever possible. Always try to remain professional and do the right thing for our clients. Take a time out if necessary. Just recognize when you feel you are at your limit and don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. Miscommunication is probably one of the top reasons why things do not go as planned. When this happens, the result can be in the form of behaviors to frustrated feelings between staff and clients. But whatever the case, we need to reflect back and ask ourselves how well we communicated our thoughts and feelings. And did the other person understand what we were communicating? Our clients do not necessarily use verbal communication, so we need to pay attention to the different methods used when trying to communicate with them. There are several ways we do this. Verbal is the most common. We do a lot of talking, but that is not the most common way we receive communications. Think about that for a moment. If you were to ask me how I am doing, and I look back at you and eye roll and shout, "I am fine," is that really sending a message that I am okay? So let's look at the second form of communication, nonverbal. Let's say you notice the eye roll and the fact that my arms are crossed or tapping my foot like I am anxious. These are all forms of nonverbal communication. If I am hearing impaired, I don't need a hearing aid to notice that something is wrong with my body language. Not only that, but let's look at the third method of communication, paraverbal. Much like the word paranormal, it is not something you can see, hear, or touch, but something you can sense. The tone of my voice can send a message that may trigger an emotion. The way I said, "I am fine." My senses pick up on the loudness, the rhythm, or the pace of the words I used, and also how I enunciated them. All of these things send signals to the person in a good or bad way. So next time you're in a conversation with a staff person or a client, pay close attention to all of the things I've mentioned and see what signals you may be sending to others around you. Also, see if you can pick up on what the other person may be saying to you. The next form of communication can be in written or visual form. Maybe your client doesn't speak, but can use a laptop or write messages on paper. Some of our individuals use sign language. It's important to pay attention and address those needs no matter what form they may be in. Touch is another form of communication. A lot of our clients want to know they are loved and appreciated, and one of the ways we can communicate that is a simple pat on the shoulder, a hug, or even a fist bump. This lets them know that they are important and their needs are important too. Give them a warm welcome, a pat on the shoulder, or a smile, or whatever the client appreciates most. Our staff is just as important when it comes to communicating with each other. Without proper communication, we build barriers instead of building a great team. It takes everyone involved to work together and to communicate the needs and best strategies available for our clients to provide the best care. So remember the word team. Together, everyone achieves more. Good customer service heavily relies on us to have a positive attitude. Did you know there are some great outcomes of having a positive attitude? Here are just a few fun facts to think about. Positive thoughts change the structure of the brain. When we practice good thoughts, we wire our brains to think better. Having a positive attitude helps you live longer. When we are thinking good thoughts, it affects our bodies in a good way. It also leads to better cardiovascular health. The Mayo Clinic reports that a positive attitude can lead to better heart health and reduce your risk of dying from cardiovascular disease. It is unclear exactly how positive thinking causes these benefits, but one theory is that having a positive outlook means you're better able to deal with stress, which in turn lowers the cortisol levels in the blood. Positive thinking boosts your immunity. The Mayo Clinic also claims that positive thinking can give you greater resistance to the common cold. It is also known to improve your social life. Obviously, if we are kind to others or we are supportive and motivating others, you become a magnet to those around you. A positive attitude lowers your blood pressure. A study in hypertension and the role of positive emotions found that targeting emotional health plays a crucial role in bringing down a patient's blood pressure. You are responsible for your positive emotion. You are ultimately the one who can change how you react and interact with others in a meaningful way. By changing your perspective, you change your life and your happiness. Practicing self-compassion, the process of turning compassion inwards, we are kind and understanding rather than harshly self-critical when we fail, make mistakes, or feel inadequate. We give ourselves support and encouragement rather than being cold and judgmental when challenges and difficulty arise in our lives. So here are some tips for a positive attitude. Number 1, avoid gossip. Gossip can dismantle teamwork and impact morale in a very negative way. Number 2, reduce complaints. It is counterproductive. How many of you like listening to a negative Nancy every day? And before you answer, make sure you aren't the negative Nancy. Number 3, positive attitudes build positive reinforcement with our staff and clients. It also builds up self-esteem and confidence in our clients and staff as well. It promotes a positive atmosphere and better workflow. When coming into view of another person, remember the 10-foot rule. Make eye contact and smile and simply say hello. Another form of good customer service is the ability to build relationships. When you are able to build relationships with your clients and staff, the outcomes are beneficial for both. You will find increase in work productivity. When people get along, they are naturally more productive. Improved morale. You'll be generally happier at work, and when you're happy at work, everyone around you sees that, and it's infectious. Effective teamwork. Good relationships will positively impact working as a team. The flow is smooth and everyone knows what their responsibilities are because they work together and not against each other. Remember, teamwork makes the dream work. Developing your own people skills will help you build successful relationships. For example, how you deal with conflict and understand your own strengths and weaknesses. Being self-aware, becoming aware of how we interact with others is important. If you are always arguing with a staff person or with a client, do not expect the results to be a positive one. Learning to accept constructive criticism is important for growth. Appreciating others is a powerful relationship builder. Make time for everyone, regardless of their role. Keep your commitments. When we keep our promises to our clients, we build trust. They know they can depend on us for whatever they need. So do not make promises you can't keep. If you commit to doing something, make sure you complete the task. Always try to meet deadlines and deliver on promises or requests. Essentially, treat others as you'd want to be treated. We can't always predict what the future holds, but we should hold the attitude that change is inevitable in most situations, and preparing ourselves for change will always allow us to be more open to flexibility. Have you ever met someone who was resistant to change? How did it make you feel? Flexibility is a large portion of what creates good customer service, and how well we handle changes sets the pace for customer satisfaction. Empathy is more than just words. It is the ability to see things from the client's perspective. People who have empathy feel things from the heart. It's the compassion for others and how we care about their thoughts and feelings, and the willingness to take the time to hear them out. It means that you can put yourself in their shoes and understand their way of seeing things. Empathy allows us to try to understand what our clients are going through and what they are feeling. It also allows us to see the situation from their perspective, not ours. It also changes the way we respond to their needs. Feeling understood is one of the human basic needs, so learning to be empathetic is important for our clients. Empathy is not something everyone is born with. It is something you gain, train, and cultivate over your lifetime. Empathy is a key skill both in your professional and personal life, but in customer service, it's a game changer. If you had to rate yourself from 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, how would you rate your customer service skills? Be honest. Write down 3 things that you feel you could grow in. Learning to have great customer skills takes time and it requires lots of practice. Set some easy goals for yourself. Start with an area you feel you struggle with and make a conscious effort to practice it. For example, if I wanted to work on active listening, then the next time I'm at work, I will make a conscious effort to work on that skill when someone comes to me with a problem. I would continue working on that skill until it becomes a natural thing for me to do. Then I would set another goal of communication or whatever I felt I needed to work on next. Do this until you have worked on all the areas you feel you need more work with. Eventually, you will notice a change in the way your clients respond to you, even staff. So just remember, building a good customer experience does not happen by accident, it happens by design. Every time you smile at someone, you are changing lives. My favorite quote of all time is this one. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Would you not agree that every encounter you have had with other people left you with a feeling that was either a positive or a negative one? And if that is true for you, what do you think others are feeling after they've had an encounter with you? Thank you so much for listening. I hope this presentation has had some impact and will make a difference in how you provide customer service. I hope you will go out and continue to make a difference in our clients' lives, even our staff. Thank you very much.